We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Okay. Fingers crossed. Does this work? Chat, let us know. Welcome to live. I'm gonna subtly do it. Welcome to Live on Two Wheels, your weekly motorcycle live show that's also a podcast. I'm watching the chat. Nothing's happening.
Do we sound like robots? Robot rock?
Okay, all good. Everything happened, guys. I had to move so many things from Bo's computer to my computer. I had no faith that this was going to work. Okay. Wow. Can I get a high five for that?
Your boy good.
Wow. Okay, so now we can do the podcast for real. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Live on Two Wheels, episode 31, your weekly motorcycle live show. That's also a podcast available on all podcast platforms, including Spotify including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. If you guys just want to listen to me and Bo, typically we got a little special guest. If you guys haven't heard, chat, say hey to Heather. This is my wife. Most of you guys probably know who Heather is. Well, you haven't been on the channel in a hot second.
Correct.
So Bo's out of town today. He's handling some family stuff. He will be back next week, so things will be back to normal. But we figured while Bo's out of town, and if this is going to be a shit show, we might as well have Heather here with me to make it as good as it possibly can be. And also, let's be honest, I have a lot of energy, and if there's nobody here to wrangle it in, then we don't know what would happen. So, Heather's here. We did clickbait the shit out of the title. How does my wife honestly feel about me riding motorcycles? We will talk about that at some point. If you guys could do us a favor, hit the like button. Hit the like button for Heather being the special guest.
Woo.
Woo.
I'm looking this way because I'm reading the chat.
You're on chat duty today then, because I'm typically super bad about it. And so, guys, I did some posts on Instagram and community stories on YouTube. We didn't think we were going to be able to have Heather on the live show, so I prepared to do this by myself. So I had you guys ask me a ton of questions about, what are you guys curious about, whether it be riding, motorcycles, the channel, whatever. We have a lot of questions there, but now that we know we have Heather here, we figured this will probably be a lot of dealing with you guys in the chat, like having y'all ask us questions. Dealing with. I use a great word. So if you guys, ask us questions, we'll just kind of answer those. And I think that'll be a better way to run this. I do want Heather to answer at some point in time during the show, just kind of like how she deals with me riding a motorcycle and stuff like that.
You want to just do that first?
We can. Yeah, we'll knock that out first, and then we'll kind of go off the chat. Okay. So first off, we do have an ad, and I really hope the ad works. We'll see if that works later on. If you guys in the chat remind us at the 30-minute mark, and we'll knock that ad out too. Like I said, it's a podcast. If you guys want to find us and just listen to us regularly, you can search Live on Two Wheels. It'll pop up on those three platforms, and this is live here, but it's also available on YouTube after the fact. So it's pretty cool. Thank you guys for showing up live. We love you guys long time. What else? What happened this week? Me and you are shooting a wedding tomorrow. Yes. So gonna be a busy Friday day. The shop will be totally empty. And what else happened this week? It was a busy filming week. We filmed a lot of stuff, and we have a first ride coming out tomorrow too.
Jake said, Heather, if you secretly love me, breathe in and out. Lord.
Oh, Jake. This is kind of, do you remember back in the day where we used to do channel chat?
Yes.
Where we would sit on the couch?
Yes.
So years and years ago, Heather and I had a red couch. That's back when we had an apartment. Mm-hmm. Like, we didn't have a house at that point. And we had this old ass red couch that we would just sit on. I think we did it like once a week. And we just did a video about like what videos came out this week.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, it was good times.
We thought we were so important.
We thought we were the coolest thing.
We did have a lot of fun doing it though.
Yeah, so that's what this week was, just a lot of filming. We got a lot of cool stuff. Oh, there is a huge surprise. Some would say the biggest thing that I've ever had happen on the channel is going to happen soon. I can't give you guys any more details, but it is legit.
Bigger than Mary and Me?
No, wait, that's his technically on the okay, well, shit. This episode's going great so far.
Laughed really loud in the mic.
No, it's fine. Not bigger than that, not even close to bigger than that. But motorcycle related, probably the coolest thing that's ever happened so far. And I don't think anybody will guess it. So we're not even going to try. So,
No, we are not expecting.
That's how we were going to.
Motorcycle related.
This is a good point. I shouldn't have said that with you here because, of course, that's going to be the assumption.
Anyways.
Okay, so let's start it out with what I clickbaited to get people to watch this live show anyway about. Our thought process is I've been writing for like 7 years. We've been back together for...
Math.
Yeah, like probably 6 of those.
Wait, what? Say the numbers.
So how long have I been writing? I forget how long I've been writing. I was writing a little before me and you got back together.
Yeah, a couple years, I would say.
So
I think you've been writing for almost 10 years.
Holy crap. Okay.
I think.
Heather's mic is a little low. Does anybody else think Heather's mic is a little low? Because to fix that is...
Hello.
Yeah, make sure you talk like
better?
Real close to it. Okay, so I've been writing a little longer than me and Heather have been back together. Now, total lifespan of the relationship, we're looking at like 15, 16 years. It's a lot of, back and forth.
Can I give a quick backstory?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we met in high school, and we dated for like 7 years in high school, and then broke up for like 3 years, dated other people, and then we got out, like we broke up with those relationships, and then soon after that, or a little after that, we reconnected, and the rest was history, as they say. And Chase was writing at that time. Did you fix it?
I think so. I attempted to fix Heather's microphone, so you guys can let us know, is Heather's microphone fixed? Say yes, fixed in the chat.
Okay.
All right, so that's the brief history, right? That's
yes.
That's us. So when we got back together, I was already writing.
Yes.
So was I way cooler of a person comparatively to the person I was before I started writing? That's the most important part for people that don't write yet. Can they get chicks if they start writing?
Yeah,
I think that's what
sure.
everyone wants to know.
Yeah, totes.
So that's the whole reason you even got back together with me is because I was riding a really cool yellow motorcycle. And
yeah, it was actually because it was yellow.
That's a fair point. Okay, so
anyway,
we get back together. I'm writing. I've been writing since we've been back together, and now obviously we've built this business on motorcycling stuff. So coming from a wife's perspective on a husband that rides almost daily, during the week at least.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Heather doesn't ride, to be clear, so you guys understand. It's not her thing, which is totally fine. She does ride on the back of the bike rarely. It's happened before. It doesn't happen very often. So what are your thoughts? Like, let's have the conversation of what goes through your head.
Specific?
So your husband rides. Obviously, riding is a more dangerous activity to do. Have been doing it for a long time. Have gotten in a few wrecks, but have been very lucky, knock on wood.
Okay, can you ask a question? I know the backstory. You don't have to tell me.
Does it worry you that I ride motorcycles?
Of course. I mean, I think that it would be silly not to be because I care about you. And a lot of times, like, especially in the beginning of our new relationship, as we call it, I don't know, it took some time to get a little more comfortable with it, I guess. But yeah, to answer your question, yes.
Okay, so it's difficult to know your husband rides. Like, what are ways that you kind of handle that?
Well, for one, you care about it. Like, it's something you love doing. And we don't control people. So, yeah. And also just full disclosure, like, we don't have kids, obviously. So that's different. I feel like when you have kids, I don't know how I'll feel then. I mean, I hope I feel relatively the same, but I mean, I would assume that changes you a little bit with for both. Like, I assume you would ride a little bit more cautiously, and I assume I might feel a little more protective over you riding. I don't know. But
this is something I've thought about recently is like, is the whole having a kid thing make you like, what's your thought process changing while you're riding? Because like obviously when you ride, like the number one thing, the thing I tell the guys, even if we're out doing camera car work, like our number one rule is to be safe and get back to the shop in a safe place, you know? So it'll be interesting at if having a kid changes any of that thought. I imagine it will.
Yeah.
I imagine it'll be a huge deal. And instead of, because like right now, you know, if I'm out riding, my safety is, you know, make sure I'm safe so that, you know, I'm back for Heather and Oreo. So, you know, after that, when there's a kid in the mix, I imagine it'll change greatly.
Yeah. So to be clear, like, I do worry about you when you're riding. It's just, I kind of just have to get to a point where, like, in the beginning of us when we got back together, I worried about it a lot more than I do now. In terms of, like, I shouldn't say worry about it. Like, I don't let it consume me like I used to.
Right.
It used to really scare the crap out of me. And if I think about it for too long, I'm sure I couldn't go back to that place mentally. But you, for one, you do this for a job too. Like, it's not just, it's your passion and what you do. So I kind of have to be, I guess.
Yeah. Well, so do you think your opinion would be the same if, let's just pretend I still worked at Cartoon Network. Let's just say I had that job and motorcycling was the fun thing that I would ride to work, and then maybe on the weekends, if we didn't have anything to do, I would go to the mountains. Do you think your opinion would change at that point?
I think my opinion would still be the same, but the mountains scare, well, okay, so Atlanta drivers are insane. So that, like, when you go downtown, that kind of freaks me out. But I know you're on a motorcycle and whatever. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But the mountains worry me because, I don't know, it just seems a little more risky. And I know how you like to ride in the mountains, which I'm sure is a lot of fun for you. But for me, when you go to the mountains, like, especially when I know you're not filming anything, if it's just for fun, I know you like to ride a little more spirited during that time. And I'm just, like, trying to keep myself distracted until you get home, honestly.
So you still feel like that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, so I think part of that is, like, from a rider perspective, you know, because we've been doing these videos of like testing bikes in the city and the highway and on the mountains recently. And I can tell you, riding in the city is so much more dangerous. But I think the reason that you naturally are more worried in the mountains, because I don't ride anywhere near as what was the word you used? Spiritedly?
That's what you say.
True. I don't ride anywhere nearly as spiritedly as I used to, but I think the thing that's scary about the mountains is, especially when I go to do like my motovlog segment in the mountains,
Yeah.
like most of the time I'm by myself and the reception's bad. You know, there's not a hospital anywhere kind of close. Whereas at least in downtown, if something happened, there would be, you know, people there to help. You know, and I think the worry is like if you're in the mountains, you know, you kind of worry what would happen if something.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I don't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah. Somebody asked how I feel about, like, what's my reaction to you being concerned, and I mean, I think that's just something you have to keep in mind. And like I said, like, regardless of where we're riding, what I'm riding, or what the video is, like, I do realize that at the end of the day, my goal is to have a good time and make good videos, but at the end of the day, like, it can all go to hell and I still need to be able to make it home at night. So that is just something I keep in the back of my head. If you guys notice, if you've been subbed to the channel for a really long time, we're not doing like R6 highway runs, and we're not going to the mountains with track suits and seeing if we can drag knee through corners and stuff. There is a type of riding that I find I feel like I got really lucky with how I rode for a while. like I did some really dumb riding for a while. And
Yeah.
I feel like I got relatively lucky getting that out of my system and moving on past that. And yes, on first rides, you guys will see me go fast on the highway. It's literally for like 10 seconds, and it's when I feel like I'm in a good spot to do that safely. I don't. I know it looks dumb. I know you don't like that, but Bo definitely doesn't like that when he's editing these videos. But I do take a lot of things into consideration while I'm riding a motorcycle. So that's kind of the answer to.
I think a lot of it is luck, so I don't think you should really talk too big about yourself riding. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people know what they're doing and get in accidents. So.
No, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Anyways, what's the next part of that question? Your question?
I mean, I guess I just want to get. I want people to have an insight of how our thing works as a guy who has a wife who doesn't ride and a guy who rides a lot.
Also, someone in the chat asked if I'd ever been on a motorcycle, and I have. I've been on the back of Chase's bikes with him a couple or multiple times, obviously. And there was a time when I was trying to learn how to ride the WR, and I just...
That time was so great because I remember that...
It was fun, but I got like... we could never find gloves that fit me right, and so the like extra fabric in the gloves like kept sticking the throttle.
God, yeah. So the thing I remember from that time the most is I remember how long it took me to get my clutch figured out because I was just like herky jerky in it. And I think Heather was on the bike twice and she had the clutch thing figured out. But the thing that you had a problem with was, like you said, the gloves were either too small and wouldn't fit, or they were too big.
No, they were never too small.
They were never too small?
No.
So it was only the two big ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
no,
had...
they would fit in my fingers and, like, this way. But when I went, like, the fabric right here was, like, so much that it was, like, pulling.
So she would go to give it throttle, and the fabric would just be bunching up in her hands, and she would be like giving it throttle and it wouldn't be going anywhere, and then would finally give throttle, and then
it would give throttle when I didn't want it to.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I would be like trying to let it off, and the fabric was like twisting the thing. I was like, what is happening?
It was pretty sketchy a couple of times. She like, you revved it a lot one time, but you had the clutch in, so it didn't really go anywhere, but then you started like going crazy with it. So
I swear one time it got stuck on the throttle, and I swear in my mind I was doing a wheelie. And Chase was like, babe, that tire did not come off the ground. I was like, I swear to God it did.
Well, like it was the WR. If you guys don't know, the WR has like really soft suspension. So what she probably felt is the front suspension just getting really like up. Like the bike would come up a lot, but to wheelie it, you would be like, it would be up in the air. And it wasn't anything like that, but I'm sure it felt like that.
Yeah, right afterwards, I remember just like getting off the WR, stepping to the side, and just sitting on the sidewalk and being like, I need a second. I don't know what just happened.
Right. That was a little scary because like I couldn't follow the motorcycle with you, so I wasn't able to like help you at the time.
Oh my God, y'all should have seen. I think you were like running behind me with the camera or something.
Yeah, it was
funny.
It was a fun time.
I bet it was funny for other people driving by watching it.
Yeah, we tried to film it in like the back of a business park or something like that, so there wasn't any, like, God forbid there would have been a car coming. Like that would have been really bad. Yeah. So I guess like generally you don't, like, if you could have everything your way, I probably wouldn't ride, right?
It's not that you wouldn't ride, maybe. I mean, because I know you love it, so like I can't change that about you, and I wouldn't want to.
Right.
Because that's a big part of who you are, at least at this like part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would wish that other people were more cognizant of motorcycles on the highway.
You're just talking like general cars?
Yeah, because that's a huge problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so that's one of the things that I am really happy to see the YouTube motorcycle space like get bigger and bigger, because hypothetically, the bigger the motorcycle YouTube space gets, the more people will find motorcycling, which means hopefully the more people will start riding, and the more people that ride, the more aware cars will be, because just
Maybe.
naturally, because if there's more people riding motorcycles on the road,
Yeah.
it'll
They're
be,
reminded.
yeah, because every time somebody sees a motorcyclist, I imagine they have that thing in their head of like, oh shit, right, those things are a thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Anyways.
So do you want to just like answer questions on the
Sure.
um
I don't.
so you can go to the chat over here and you can scroll up and down. If you guys have any questions that you want us to answer specifically, we can just start knocking through questions, and anything you want to ask Heather specifically, me specifically, just let us know.
So you kind of started answering this G Bears question when you said, how do you feel about her concerns? Does it make you a more careful rider or change the way you ride at all? I don't think you answered the second part of that, or maybe you did and I just don't remember. But do you feel like it changes how you ride?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like the safety aspect is a lot bigger of a deal now, because like, not to have this kind of like selfish mentality or anything, but like before you're in a relationship or have obligations to other people, it's like you only give a shit about the jollies you get, going fast or, riding stupid. So
I'm going to interrupt you if you
okay.
don't. Sorry. I know you'll drone on and on if I don't cut
Of course
you
I
off.
will. Yeah.
Sorry. So let's talk about. Oh wait, goodness. Oh, somebody said, is Chase as big of a doofus in real life as he is on the show? Yeah. This is Chase. I would say he puts on a little bit for the camera, or for videos, but he's very silly. He's very animated in real life.
Thank you.
The
people have always wondered. It's like, do you have to deal with this on a daily basis?
I mean, obviously
yes.
he's not. He's a little bit more watered down at home because he's more chill. But anyways, on the Smart helmet, I don't know anything about that.
The Smart helmet. So the Smart helmet continues. Okay. That's our Discord joke going on right now.
What's my favorite meal for dinner? What day of the week?
Yep.
I love steak. I like buffalo chicken. I like hot wings. I like sushi. I like salads.
I think.
What don't I like?
I think food is a very interesting thing where me and you sync up really well with food. Like, there's no food that you're like, hey, I really am craving this type of food, and it's not something that I really like. You know what I mean?
Say that again?
Like, I think most of the foods that we like, we both like. So
Yeah.
there's no like, man, I really want X. And
do I like cornbread?
What's the
I
other
like
question?
my steak medium rare.
This is a food podcast now. Perfect.
Is the dog home alone? Just for the time being. Not for long.
Oreo's chilling in his kennel right now. We will be back with him shortly. Trust me. He will consume our lives in about 1 hour.
How do you support Chase in the beginning of the camera car? Oh, how did I? Before he had a team, I also want to know, how did he help convince me to help? Okay, so how did I support him in the beginning of the camera car stuff? Basically, I would just drive the camera car.
Do you remember back in the day where we literally had a camera just attached to the car?
Yeah.
And you would drive it and I would ride the bike.
Yeah, and he would have the like Senna in the helmet or something, and we would talk through the phone on that or something. Or no, how did we?
No,
talk?
so I had a Senna in my helmet. I would connect that to my phone, and me and you would be on a phone call for the entire first ride. It was a camera. I think it was first a GoPro, then it was a GH5, and we just attached them to the outside of the car, and we had the flippy screen out. So I would have to tell Heather, it's like, okay, you go the same speed, and I'm going to like try to get into frame. It was a lot.
So I see a couple people asking about how to convince your girlfriend to let you ride or something along those lines. I think a lot goes into that. Like, I don't think that that's a quick, easy answer. I think your age matters. I think your history with cars or bikes matter, as well as his or hers. If they have had experiences, like bad experiences with people in their life, maybe it might be a little harder, which is, I think, understandable.
Right.
I think if you maybe have a friend that has a motorcycle, invite them over, let your girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever, see. I mean, the more you're around something, I feel like the more you understand, the less your fear can
Like get exposed to it.
I guess. But then I mean, they probably will always have fear because it is
It's a
pretty
dangerous thing.
risky. Yeah.
Do you think it would help if they, for lack of a better term, if you know, if I was the person and you were the girlfriend that doesn't want me to ride, would it help at all, do you think, if I was like, well, I promised to start on like a 300 and slowly work my way up, you know, would that matter at all? Like, do you care
I mean,
about
yeah.
engine size?
No, do I care? About
Would you
anything?
care? Like, in this hypothetical world?
I mean, sure. I mean, I guess the slower you go, the better. I don't know.
Well, like, if you're on a motorcycle that has less ability to just haul ass, you know?
Well, yeah, I don't think you should start out on an R1.
Totally agree, but I'm saying in this situation, he's trying to convince his girlfriend. It's like, look, I want to ride. I would imagine,
I
you
would
know,
say get whatever you're comfortable getting. I wouldn't say try to. I
D-
wouldn't go that far. I guess. I mean, you're
Yeah.
buying a vehicle essentially.
yeah. Well, would it also help to just be like, I'm gonna take this slow. I'm gonna go through all these courses to make sure that I
Yeah,
know
of
exactly what
course.
I'm doing.
But that would show you're being responsible.
So maybe that's a key, is to just prove that you're gonna do this in a responsible manner. You're not gonna be like I was at, you know, 24 being a jackass on the highway.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a route to take. Try that. But I like the idea of you were talking about, expose the person to other people, ideally other couples that ride, and that way you get them more comfortable and used to, like, look, everybody's not like this mentality that everybody has for motorcyclists.
I can't. Somebody said, I remember seeing y'all's post wedding video where you use the words, you don't own me. I don't know which of us said that, but that sounds like both of us. Or that sounds like something I would say, being dramatic. What? Oh, Heather, were you always into photography? So I actually just posted a thing about this on my photography Instagram because clients ask me this all the time. But basically, since I was a kid, my dad and grandpa and mom had cameras, video cameras, and we have like home videos of me being super freaking annoying, asking for the camera. So literally, it's always been a part of me and like what I love. So yeah, I've always loved it. What else? Since you basically do this for a living, do you ever have days that it just feels like a job and you're kind of over it? Bad days and such. I would say, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you, regardless of how fun your job is or what you do for a living is, you're gonna have bad days. My bad days, I typically respond to comments that I definitely shouldn't if I'm just in a bad mood or haven't gotten the right amount of sleep. But yeah, I mean, there are parts of everything that feels kind of monotonous and boring. But there's also parts that, you know, make you feel super excited and just make you like realize that you're super lucky to be in the position you're in. I have, you know, everybody has good days and bad days. I don't think there's a specific thing about the job that makes me feel like a job, because like there's some days where I like making thumbnails and I like feeling like I'm creative, coming up with titles and shit. And then there's some days where I don't really feel like writing, but we have to go do a video because that's the job, you know? So,
somebody asked about Yummy, and they haven't seen him in a video with you in a while. So he moved.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that on does he say?
Yeah, he talks about that. It's on his Instagram.
Oh, okay. He moved out of Georgia, so we don't see him as much anymore, unfortunately. We got to see him a lot last year.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they're not in Georgia now, so we'll see them at some point again, I'm sure.
We are still friends. We are not.
Yeah.
I don't.
We still talk to them.
Yeah,
so.
I think people see like no videos and they're like, oh, they must be annoyed at each other or something. That's not the case.
Any plans on reviving Any Ridden Sunday?
I would love to do that. The only problem, I'll answer this and we'll do the ad after that. You guys are awesome for reminding us of that. If you guys haven't seen Any Ridden Sunday was a series, like I guess you could call them like little documentaries.
Yeah.
I only did one of this stunt rider here in Atlanta. It's super produced. I loved every second of doing it, and my only problem with it is that those videos don't make money, and I'm trying to run a business, so you have to kind of weigh doing videos like that. So if I could get funding behind it, because it takes a lot of time and energy to make it financially make sense, I would love to do that. And as soon as I can figure that out, I will do that. Okay. We're going to really try to do this ad thing. You guys have to let us know if it just crashes and fails, but let's see if it works. We'll be back in a couple seconds, maybe. What's going on, guys? This episode of Live on Ontwowheels is brought to you by Revzilla's RPM membership. What that is basically a membership program that only costs $60 a year, not a month, but a year, and you get a ton of rewards from it. It's kind of like Amazon Prime for Revzilla. So if you're buying a lot of motorcycle gear, especially on Revzilla, this could be really interesting for you. Check out all of the things you get for this. So you're going to get free 2-day shipping and returns. You're going to get 10% off exclusive brands. You're going to get 5% cash back, period. Also, for you first-time members, you're going to get $15 in cash back from the moment you get this membership. It's also going to include early access to sales and phone lines and exclusive events. So if you're somebody that buys a ton of gear and could find a lot of value in this RPM thing, by all means, we'll have a link for you down in the description below. Thank you guys for supporting the show by going to that link. And thank you, Revzilla, for sponsoring this episode. We'll see you guys with the rest of the show.
What?
And it worked. Yay. Thank you, Revzilla, for sponsoring. I hope that worked well. Also, we haven't made a new ad spot yet, guys, but that RPM membership also works at Cycle Gear and their other store, all the Komodo stuff. So it's a really cool deal.
Yes, I do watch his videos. Not all of them, but when I have time, I do, and I will give feedback if ever I feel like there's something to give feedback on.
You were saying you watched my recent video. Which video?
Oh, the one about scrubbing or whatever.
Oh, today's video?
Yeah, and I didn't realize the scrape would be so loud.
Yeah.
The first time you did it and it surprised you, I was like, oh, wow, that's actually really loud.
Yeah, it's surprisingly
I was also
loud.
going to say, when you watch that video, take a shot every time he says scrape the pegs or something, whatever the saying is.
We were talking about it last night. There's times where I get something in my head, like a statement, and I have such a hard time not making that statement. It's like to the point where it's annoying, where I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I have a question for the chat. It's something that Heather and I have kind of like thrown around in the past before, but we've never gone down the route of it. So Heather's a huge fan of like old Z cars. Is that Z? Mm-hmm. Z's?
Yeah.
We've thrown around the idea of her, like, would you want to like build one, or what's something you would want to do with that car?
I don't know, because I've never done that kind of stuff before, so I don't know how horrible it would be, or not horrible, but hard it would be. But people have said we should like record trying to fix it or something. Like restoring an old car, basically. I'm sure these days now with COVID and all of the slow parts issues that people have and all of that, it might be even harder to do. But yeah, like a 240. Yes, an old Datsun.
So Heather has shown me, I guess you follow like a couple Instagram pages.
I follow a shit ton.
So every now and then.
Wait, can I cuss on here?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
I drop F-bombs constantly.
Okay.
So every now and then Heather will show me a Z, and I'm like, I don't know how to make that.
Yeah, so if you go on Auto Trader, I think it is, and you look up those cars, you can find some that they look like they've been sitting in a junkyard, or the ones that have been a little bit restored are pretty expensive for what expensive for what we would be looking for that type of car, but yeah, I think I would want one that we can like work on kind of at our own pace or at my own pace if I wanted to learn how to do different things. I grew up with my dad working on cars, and he always had some car. He'd sell it and then get a different one and play with it for a little while and then sell it. So I'm just used to that, I guess. But I don't remember really ever working on them with him. So I would have to learn basically everything.
Well, your dad's still crazy into cars too. Shout out Vinny.
Yeah, but I don't think he knows anything about Datsuns. I mean, he had one, but I don't think he worked on it, like restored work on it.
Well, like, is it the type of thing, like with a motorcycle, you learn general information about motorcycles and you can apply that to other motorcycles? I would imagine it would be the same type thing. Like, there's a general base knowledge of car stuff, and then you can apply that base knowledge to a lot of different things, like a lot of different cars.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said to get a Camaro. I've had a Camaro, not a 70s model or 80s. It was like I don't remember what year it was, maybe early 2000s, or 98 actually. Anyways, but I specifically have this love for Datsun. So it's not about the old car necessarily.
It's about that model specifically.
It's about the Z. I mean, I love all Zs, but the 240 would be so fun. Or, I mean, honestly, I think there's like a 280 as well. I think would be really. Either.
I saw some people saying 270. Maybe that's what it is.
270.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So while you look that up, if that's what you're gonna look up, so a lot of you guys were asking where Brian is recently and where Wreck Bike Rebuild is. Wow, we have had a hell of a time with parts and problems, but I'm very happy to say, I believe next Tuesday, if you guys don't know, we've been rebuilding this engine. The engine is now put back together. Can you guys see it right here? Probably can't even tell it's an engine. Our CBR 1000 engine is totally put back together now. It has taken a lot. We have a time-lapse video coming out next Tuesday that will hit the channel. After that video hits the channel, we should be back to weekly Wreck Bike Rebuild content. So that's where it's been. We've been updating people over on Patreon, but obviously, like, making updates to YouTube is kind of hard. So that's where Brian is. That's where Wreck Bike Rebuild is. Didn't go anywhere. We also have a website coming out, but we'll talk about that whenever it's out. What other questions?
What year is the CBR?
The CBR is a 2008. CBR 1000 RR Street Fighter is what it will be.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, I assumed that doing the Z would be very expensive, but I would want to fix it up to have it for a really long time. So I think, doing it in obtainable, oh my God, why are my words not coming out? Doing it slowly and as I could afford it. We also live in an older home, so we're putting a lot of money in, or I've been putting a lot of money into the house too. So
new channel, Heather on 4 Wheels. Yes, Heather on 4 Wheels in the chat. Woo woo.
Lord,
you could start the channel with a super high quality Z build. How freaking cool would that be?
Really fun.
All right, well, we got to get the channel name and go ahead and start planning out all the content.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I'll talk about anything forever. Is there anything specifically the chat is asking, and we can just keep rocking through stuff?
I feel like I've pretty much asked everything.
I've been seeing a lot of VMAX comments with the rocket. I do see you guys. From what I understand, a VMAX is a very fast cruiser, very similar to the Rocket. Jeez, I feel you can take a motorcycle road trip. Would you ever do a motorcycle road trip, like ride on the back with me? We'd have to figure out Oreo, but if we could, assuming we had that figured out, would you do a motorcycle road trip?
So there's a lot with that because I also am a wedding photographer, and I feel like it would be very irresponsible of me to do that when, if I got hurt, somebody has put all of their trust that we were going to be there on their wedding day, and then
that's a good point.
If I got hurt, God forbid, or both of us got hurt, and then I'd have to find someone else to be there, or that could just turn into a nightmare. So that would have to be something we would plan far into the future, and maybe when I don't have weddings booked. But if I take a whole year off or 6 months or whatever, then I have to worry about getting clients after that.
Well, so a motorcycle road trip, I'm talking first we would do a day trip. Then it would be if we were going really far away, or not really far away, but we would do it in the U.S. and there's no way I would want to be gone for more than like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
I ain't talking like live on a bike for a month.
I do miss doing those walk around walk around bike reviews that I used to do. I had fun doing it because I could just be stupid and just upload it and piss a lot of people off. Apparently, a lot of people
So
took
Heather,
it very seriously. Did not appreciate it.
so back in the day when for you guys that haven't seen those, when we would go up to Mountain Motorsports, I would be up there doing my first drive video, and this is when Heather was driving our, I don't even want to call it a camera car at that point, but while we were there, I'd be getting all these shots, and I think you did them on your phone, right?
And I used to have a small camera, but
So she would record walking around a motorcycle and do a motorcycle walk around video and call nothing what it actually was.
yeah.
And it was actually pretty hilarious because you would just come up with whatever you like, windshield wiper fluid for coolant and stuff like that. It was a pretty funny troll that some people, I don't know how somebody could watch that.
Well, I
and
would title it like review of the Super Duke, blah blah blah, whatever,
Yeah.
and so I guess they would get annoyed that they clicked into the video and then I was not being serious at all. I don't know.
That's too funny. I miss those times, just trolling the hell out of the internet. Let me look through these questions and make sure that there's any. You tell people a story while I read through these.
So when Chase and I got back together a few years ago, was right around the time that Chase got into the Ducati accident, and Chase was so worried that was going to scare me away from wanting to be back together with him.
Y'all, we had just gotten back together,
Yeah.
and then I wrecked the damn thing. Like, Heather didn't even live in Atlanta at the time. I was like, here's my chance. It's gone.
Why did I stop trying to learn how to ride Tina? Who the hell is Tina?
It might have auto-corrected from T.
I'm just being funny. Anyways, I think I just kind of stopped because we never found good gloves that I felt confident in, and I don't know. I really don't remember. I think I just kind of stopped. But for the longest time, do you remember how much I was like so opposed to riding on the street with you on the back?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why you would take me to a parking lot to try and get me comfortable riding on the back, and then the
To be fair,
next day you wrecked in the mountains.
Yeah, to be fair, I had an R6 at the time. So, like, you riding an R6, like, there's nothing comfortable about being on an R6.
Absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah,
They're
think
pretty, but I don't, even for the rider, I can't imagine that's comfortable to be leaned over literally the whole, like my back hurts thinking about it, but maybe that means I'm getting old.
I think you should ride on the MT10 and just see how that feels, because I've got the comfort seat on it, and it's
On the what?
the MT10,
Oh.
the one I bought from Yamaha.
Oh my God, some sidecar content. Oh my God.
Would you
that
ride in a
be funny.
sidecar? If I could find a Ural or something, would you ride in it?
If we could do it at my dad's, sure, because I feel safe over there.
Okay.
In Atlanta, let me just say hail to the no.
Yeah, I don't even blame you in Atlanta. So there's a question that was on YouTube that I think is a pretty interesting question. It's at the top here. When did you realize that you could no longer run the channel without getting some help? Do you miss the days being a smaller channel and having control over everything?
You still have control over everything, basically.
Yeah, I think what he means is like, do
Doing
you
it all
miss?
yourself.
Yeah, like my hands were on everything, and to be honest, y'all, no, I don't. I miss I miss being in downtown, and we had that loft apartment, and there was just a cool feeling with the channel at that point. I think that's when I got over 100,000 subs, and I remember you were there with me, and that was just a cool time.
Yeah.
Whereas it felt small and scrappy at that time, regardless of how the content was. But I can honestly say the content that we're making right now, I feel really good about. What's up, Pat? See to the mom in the chat. Yeah, at this point I look at things as a media company kind of, and a lot of you guys know my true passion in life is videography. So the content I'm making now, or the team and I are making now, is I feel like far better content, at least from my perspective. So I'm happy with what we're doing right now, and I just want to keep making better and better stuff. But it was a totally different thing, little scrappy
I kind of
apartment.
miss like when we were at the old townhouse, like the one we rented. And I think you had hired Brian like halfway through that.
Yeah, season 2 of Wreck Bike Rebuild.
Yeah, and then Luke came on towards the very end of us living there, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
But I just loved how like you had your office downstairs, and even at the house we live in now, I miss it sometimes. But like that house is just a little too small for that, and the garage as well. So
Yeah,
I
we
get it, but I do miss it sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. When we moved into the house we're currently in, we searched really hard to find a place that would allow me to work out of the house, and it's really hard to find because like we don't want some like giant house that we have to upkeep, but it's like every house that we looked at that had a garage big enough for me to work out of and an office space to film out of, they were always connected to like stupidly large houses. And it's like, does nobody have like a good space, like a good garage space? Yeah. Granted, the housing market here in Atlanta at that time was just like,
well, also we were not trying to go too far out of the city or like the perimeter, which makes it harder. I'm sure like if we went out into the country somewhere,
yeah, that's a good point.
We could find a property that had like a barn type thing.
Yeah, but we ain't barn people.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that's why it was harder for us, is because we didn't want to be too far out.
If only we could have found the house that was on Parenthood. We'd have had the barn, we'd been solid.
Yes. Lived in with Yam Yam. What?
He's saying the house we lived in with Yummy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no. Jake, that's a big old hell no.
Jake, I don't think Jake's been here since that house, right? That was like 2015.
Yeah, I don't think so. Jake, you need to, when you get into Atlanta, bud, we've got a house. You can come hang out. It'd be cool. Just saying. We could do a
channel chat throwback.
Yeah, we could do a channel chat throwback. It'd be awesome. We'll mic the couch up. It'll be awesome. Okay.
Yes, Chase needs to live wherever his bikes don't get stolen. Amen.
Right. Okay. What is your go-to camera setup for rollers and B-roll? Can you do a video in the future showing how you shoot, edit, produce a video? I would love to see that process. Make it a few video series. There's actually a Chase Bucher YouTube channel that I have that I plan on making content eventually, and we cover a lot of that stuff over there. So if you just search YouTube for Chase Bucher, you'll see my face. So that is what you can do if you want to see how we shoot, because the process is a lot. The setting up the camera car and all that stuff it's far more than I think most people really understand. You watch chat comments. I'm going to look at this and see.
12 minutes left. Heather, why don't we see you on Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage? You could also get into bikes like your father got you interested into cars. Yeah, potentially. I think that, well, for one, my wedding season this year, or my wedding jobs this year, are so insane from the reschedules last year. So, like, literally during the week, when I get up, I'm editing all day, along with having phone calls with brides and wedding planners and dealing with galleries and all this kind of stuff. So the time that I have this year is not very much, especially for the rest of the year.
Yeah, your business has been kicking butt lately.
But it would be fun to do something again. We've talked about me doing stuff on the back of the bike with you. We just haven't really committed to it yet, and I want to get gear that I actually like and feel comfortable in, because what I have right now I just don't love.
We can do this. Here's I'll pitch to you guys my idea for me and Heather doing a video series, and it would be relatively consistent if we actually got it going. So my thought process is, so it's kind of like first rides, no camera car, and it would be me riding a motorcycle at Mountain Motorsports. Heather would always be on the back, and it would be a 2-up review of the motorcycle, specifically addressing how the bike is to ride with a passenger. So I would talk about how the bike is reacting differently. Heather would respond to like how the bike feels from her perspective and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it could be crazy popular. Would you do that? Assuming you had gear that you loved and you felt super comfortable in.
Are you talking about the 2-up thing?
Yeah.
Would I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be down for it?
We've talked about it before.
Well, I mean, like, I'm trying to make it so you say it publicly, and,
Sure,
and that way
yeah.
I trap you into it so you
Yes.
can't say no. See? Alex thinks it's a great idea. Has anyone recognized Chase while out shooting weddings? That has happened a couple times.
Yeah, it's very weird because I'm like in the zone, focused on like wedding stuff, and then somebody out of nowhere is like, Chase, and then immediately we're like, oh, okay, that person knows Chase from YouTube.
It's pretty cool because like so if you guys don't know, Heather has her wedding photography business, and then when she goes to a wedding, I go with her and I just do kind of second shoot / assistant. So the roles, like, because during the week I'm just like working, right? I'm here with the guys and I have to run this whole show. So it's pretty interesting when we go to weddings because I get to totally like 180-degree flip, and I'm just like, whatever I'm supposed to do, like Heather's the boss, applesauce. It's a pretty cool situation, but I have had this happen a few times where somebody asks if I'm Chase, and then there's the semi-awkward, like I'll talk with them and stuff like that, but then at the end of the day, like we're at this person's wedding to get shots of them, you know what I mean? And like Heather runs a tight ship with weddings because it's a pretty high-level wedding photography thing. It's not like some joke thing. So I mean, like I want people to understand, like you run a like legit business. So, yeah, it's like, oh, I wish I could continue talking with you, but like these people are getting married, so I gotta like, I gotta run take photos of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it has happened a couple times. It's a little weird, but we make it past it. We make it through. Is there anything you want to talk about with people other than your dreams of building a Z car? Would you want to build an electric one?
No.
Oh, well.
I mean,
I don't know if that's even possible.
I don't care either way, really.
You just want the look of it?
Wait, where did the
Or what?
comments go? Literally, like, what? That's how bad of a photo it is.
No, it's not. It's not a bad photo. You're just being critical.
Oh, am I?
Not gonna do that. Hold on, guys. I'm going up the chat. I'm trying to, because I feel like we missed a lot of stuff up here because I was starting to talking. Shoot, I lost my place. You answered the why are we not on Rec Bike, or why are you not on Rec Bike Reboot anymore? Chase, like Heather has helped you. Can you tell us about you helping her out in the initial starting days, like getting cameras or just in general? Because we've been together since you've been doing weddings seriously, right? Like you started that business.
What?
You like hardcore started that business.
I went full time while we were together, but yeah. My first wedding I did was in 2008, and it was very terrible. And
it was not.
You have not seen this photo. Anyways, yeah, I went full time while we were together.
So, how has it been me helping you with your wedding business? Do you want to talk through that?
It's fun. It's helpful because Chase has taught me a lot about the technical side of cameras, whereas I just would make it work with with my cameras, and I would figure things out as I go. I like learn with my hands and like by doing, not really by reading about the stuff, I guess, in terms of like art, I guess. So it's helpful to have Chase for that. What are you doing?
I'm gonna open Discord and try to go into there and
to do the memes.
yeah, I don't want things to crash. I feel like we're walking a tightrope here. So something pretty interesting to talk with you guys about is almost
5 minutes.
okay, almost exact opposite to me. You are just naturally talented at photography and camera work.
What do you mean opposite of you?
I'm very like I research a lot of stuff to know what I'm doing and what I'm talking about, and you are almost the exact opposite where you can just like get a camera and you just like naturally all right, yeah, you grab a camera and you just naturally frame in your head and you just do really good work, and it's like you don't even really care about the technical behind the scenes part. Like you've changed a little bit these days, but like in the beginning, you just like took good photos.
Thanks.
And it was just like, why?
That one is so funny.
Hold on, okay. We're gonna try to get on Discord and do meme stuff for the last couple minutes. Cross your fingers. Let's see if I can go laptop screen. All right, here we go. Where does this begin? Okay. Are you looking at these?
Mm-mm.
Head of DT.
Sorry, I'm replying to the person asking if I'm the same wife.
Of course you are.
Wait,
Smort. Of course you have the head of DT Smort approved. Smort helmets are huge in the Discord.
Oh, that photo was so terrible.
That is not so terrible. When you try to convince her to let you buy a Smort helmet. I love the Smort shit.
They finna drag you. It's so funny.
Okay.
Not to you.
No, I don't think I get it.
Whatever.
When Andrew can't make the podcast, special offer.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, that's so great. Hold on, I can't even read this.
Lord.
Oh my god, it's the Smart stuff is so strong. That's so sadly true. If you guys haven't watched season 1 of Wreck Bike Rebuild, I've watched a little bit of it, and whoo, it's pretty terrible. This is pretty great. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I will say, for all the Smart stuff in the Discord, Bo and I have been discussing it, and we're trying to figure out a legitimate way of actually doing some sort of Smart helmet. So, for all of you Smart helmet fans out there, don't worry. We are attempting to figure out how to make it work.
We have not done a motorcycle themed wedding to answer whoever asked that, but we have had a couple who wanted to use their motorcycles in their engagement shoot. Remember that?
That is true.
You went to that engagement shoot with me.
Yep. If I remember correctly, I laid in the back of the Jeep and we got photos
of them riding towards the car. That was really fun.
That was pretty cool. Okay, guys, thank you for being on Discord and posting that stuff and making us laugh. That was great. Do you have any final words for being on your first episode of Live on Two Wheels?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
With peace and love. What if I was like, with peace and love, I will not be back?
So, yeah, if you guys enjoy Heather being on here, make sure to hit that like button. And if you guys enjoy her enough, we'll subscribe. And maybe we'll have to have her on. Oh my god!
Could you hear it there?
Yes, I can hear. Like this is my little secret ear. If you guys enjoy Heather being on here, she might have to just be a guest every now and then, and we'll check back in and see how things are going. Occasionally. All right. Before you guys get out of here, make sure to hit the like button. If you're listening to this podcast, make sure to over on Apple Podcasts, make sure to review us over there. This is Live on Two Wheels. We will be back next week. Same C2Dub time, same C2Dub place. And, yeah, that's all we got. Thank you guys a long time. And before, okay, this is going to take some coordination. I'm going to go hit that purple button that purple button is going to make a fart sound. And when that fart sound happens, you have to send us to the outro by clicking on this word.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So
I don't know if I can handle that.
let's see if we got it, boys. All right. Are you ready?
I think.
All right, guys. See you guys next week. Get ready for the fart.
Lord have mercy.
3, 2, 1.
I
Go.
didn't.